So let's talk a little bit about equipment leasing and why 80% of companies in America actually lease or finance some, if not all, of their equipment. The biggest reason is just money. If you own, let's say you own a construction company and you need a new piece of equipment, whether it's a skid steer or a dump truck or whatever, and it's going to cost you $50,000. Now, if you have $50,000 sitting there, that's great, but a lot of times you don't. And so obviously you're going to finance the equipment. Now, even if you have the cash, sometimes it's not smart to take all that money out of working capital. And lastly is taxes. It's more expensive sometimes to pay cash for the equipment because let's say you're in the 33% tax bracket. Well, if you buy $50,000 worth of equipment and you're paying it for it with after-tax dollars, it's going to cost you, you have to have earned $75,000 to have the $50,000 sitting there versus just paying it off over 2 or 4 or 5 years and saving on taxes along the way. Also, with leasing, you've got a super low down payment. Sometimes it's 5%, sometimes it's one payment, sometimes it's the first and last. But leases are very, very easy to get into. And so let's talk about that too, because leasing is a lot easier than just going to the bank. I mean, the banks turn down 85% of all applications. And compare that to equipment leasing, which is more expensive. I mean, equipment leasing isn't right for everybody. If you've got awesome credit and you do $5 million in revenues, and you're in an industry that the bank likes to lend to, it's going to be a lot cheaper to get financed through your bank. But if that's not the case, 80% of the time you're going to be approved for an equipment lease deal. The only times you're typically going to not be approved is if you've got bad credit and no collateral. If you're new in business, if you've got decent credit, you can usually be approved. It'll cost a little bit more, or sometimes a lot bit more than going through the bank, but you'll get the equipment you need. And it's fast. Going to the bank, sometimes you have to wait a month to hear whether it's yes or no, and then another month to get your money, and they're going to make you fill out all this stuff. Pages and pages of business plans and all sorts of crazy. It's like a colonoscopy. With equipment leasing, especially for what we call small ticket leasing, which is stuff that's $75,000 and below, typically you need a one-page application, you send up some bank statements, we may ask you a few more questions, and then you're good to go. So that's why companies lease equipment. For more information, if you're looking at us on YouTube, we've got a link to our blog below. If you're looking at this on our website, we've got more information in the blog article below that. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.